This is just a little commentary about telephones and the first part, and then the second part may be a little bit of a humorous thing that we used to do when I was at work. First off, telephones are not the same as they used to be. They're not really phones anymore. Because the one, if you get on a house phone, you rarely get a person that can actually talk, you know, a friend or something. You get these telemarketers, they're trying to sell you something. More worse than that, these scammers that's trying to get your information and everything. I just simply detest them people, and I'm sure everybody else does too. Maybe they're trying to make a living, but the ones that are trying to scam you, they're just crooked. And so I don't know, where things went wrong. Now the cell phones, they're not really a phone, they're a miniature computer. Because it does anything and everything that a computer will do pretty much, you know. And so I don't know why you would call it a phone. You really would call it your handheld computer. But anyway, things have gotten way past what I think they should. The only reason I have a house phone is for my internet. I don't have a AT&T, whatever that is, wireless internet, whatever they call it, or anything. So I'm just sticking with that. And of course, I get a call every day or so, or maybe 2 or 3 times a day. Somebody telling me that somebody charged something to my Amazon account. And then, of course, I have to push number 1 and give them a good cussing. Or otherwise, it's somebody from the credit card services. I don't carry a balance on any credit cards. So that won't help me a bit. There's no interest in what they're trying to put through with you. So that's just almost a useless thing to even try to pick up your telephone. One rare occasion, you do actually get somebody that wants to talk. Once in a while, you get an honest, wrong number, and that's fine. That happens. But anyway, that's just a little rant. Well, it's not really a rant because I can't do anything about it. But it's just gotten out of hand on this telephone business, which, like I said, is not really a telephone, as it used to be. Now, this is another little thing, maybe a little bit more humorous. Whenever I get out of the service, I first worked at a tractor mechanic. I was a tractor mechanic for a while with a guy. He didn't farm me. I quit after 2 weeks. For a reason I guess I shouldn't even go into because it might, I don't know, you might call it drugs. But nonetheless, then I went to work at a print shop up there. And most of us in there were young folks, 20s, maybe 30s, a few older ones. But we pulled pranks on everybody, each other every once in a while, well, practically every day. It was honestly a fun place to work. Now, the one thing they used to do was, them plastic valve caps that goes on a guitar valve. So you can poke a little bitty hole into that thing and stick that in the water fountain because there's those little, and usually like 4 little prongs in there and that thing just fit perfect. You stick that in there, of course it's black and people didn't pay attention. You get over there, get a drink, and that thing shoots high pressure. It'd shoot a stream 6 or 7 feet away, and shoot it right in your face. It's kind of a startling thing. It won't hurt you, but it was fun. The ones doing it, maybe not the ones that got. But I also got sprayed a few times too. One of our guys there, he said he took me to Walmart, and he done that in one of their water fountains. They had that kind back then. He said he got back behind the towels or the linens, just watching people. Here come this lady up there that she said her face looked like it was painted. Excuse me. With all kinds of, makeup and everything. And she got down and get her drink. And her makeup pretty much disappeared, or at least it got disarranged anyway. He said he had to get away from there because he laughed hard. Somebody would know he didn't have something to do with it. And another trick we used to do, a lot of tricks with cigarettes. You take a roll of tobacco out of a cigarette, carefully, you won't mess up the paper. And you can get it down about so far, and then put it back in the back, and perfectly, it's off, and they don't care. They pick up the thing and it flares up because the paper burns real quick, and it kind of startles them. They don't know it's not dangerous, but that. Another thing you can do is straighten out a paperclip, that's handy size. You run that right, so this straight's run right down the cigarette there. They'd be smoking away and everything, and your lashes are getting longer and longer and longer. I think it must be long, they don't fall off, and there's a little bit of talking about it. And then when I finally figured out that there's something holding the lashes. Now, one time I did that, and the wire was too close to the edge of the paper. This guy was smoking away and talking to his thing. Went pretty soon he cleaned that cigarette up. Something burned me. What it was, that wire was right against the paper there, and the heat finally warmed up that wire, and it didn't give me serious burns or anything. And another thing we used to do is go behind the presses back. You know, people think in this print shop that as far as a real hazard. Well, those rolls of paper, if you took a 7-inch torch, you couldn't burn them. They're wrapped that tight. Now, loose paper like paper wads, yeah, you could burn some, but we never had a fire up there due to cigarettes. We did have because of electrical, but all back on the same subject. Take a firecracker and lay it down there, and take your cigarette, you know, it's lit. Lay it across the wick of that firecracker. You go ahead and walk away, way away. The time that cigarette burns down and hits that wick, and pow! Whoever's running the press back there jumping, quite a way, a couple of feet in the air, probably. But like I say, it's kind of harmless pranks, but I'm sure if the boss sees us do that, he would not appreciate the humor at all. He might even call it horseplay. And then making the paper wads is another thing. We did that a lot. Now, you don't just, I think I showed it before, you don't just take paper and throw it, because it won't go 2 feet. I'll make a little more. You take that paper wad, that paper, you roll it into itself, keep rolling it into itself, roll it into itself. Pretty soon you got one packed, I mean, it's packed. You can throw that thing 50 feet, and it's kind of hard when it hits. The only thing bad about that, the janitor, he didn't like it because it was all over the floor. You know. As soon as you get through sweeping them up, there's a bunch more. You know. But we kids, you know, young folks. Even the foreman, he was the same age as me back about 23, 24, something. Everybody thought it was funny back then. Of course, now that I'm an old, cranky old geezer, it wouldn't seem fun to me either. In the other plant, before we moved out where we were there, they had a newspaper press that was the old letter press type. What they called a basement shed. Go down underneath and set that type. If you've ever seen on TV, you know, the cowboy shows, the guys putting them type on these presses, and it's all these little slugs. They're made out of lead, and they I don't know, platinum or gold or whatever it is goes over, and then they come down and print it. Well, this old press was like that, and they call it furniture when they put that wood pieces in to divide the sentences and all, and it's in the rack. And this guy, the pressman, he had it all set up for the newspaper that day. He was pushing on a two-wheeler or hand truck, and one of the wheels hit one of them paper wads and dumped that whole bunch all over the floor. Now that's hard to set it up because it's all printed backward, you know. So when it comes up, it'll print right. Now the offset press, of course, this plate is exactly like it's supposed to be because it runs off another roll. But anyway, that's complicated. Not really, but that's not part of the topic. But anyway, he got extremely mad about that because I don't know how long it took him to put that all back together again. It's like, you know, it's the size of a newspaper sheet page, and it's filled with all those words and slugs, or whatever you want to call them. So it made a big mess. And let's see, was there anything else? We used to take that shrink wrap machine, it's plastic, and, you know, that's what you pack your work in. Take that excess wrap, that's just plastic, roll it really, run through the shrinker, and it sucked that thing up pretty tight. It was about not quite as hard as a softball, but pretty close. And boy, those things, our foreman, he was the best at it. So he threw that thing completely across the lengthways of that building. It's about 100 feet, and hit somebody with it, you know. There again, you didn't get knocked out or anything, but it could have been dangerous, you know. But anyway, that's just a couple of topics there, something to kind of go on. I know we probably did a lot more cranky stuff that I just can't think of. Well, we used to have them called chipboard. It's about the thickness of a cereal box, you know, thick. And you cut it whatever size you want. And you had some leftovers, if they're perfectly square, you can flip that thing and you can't, there's no way to tell where it's going to go. It'll go zoom, zoom, everywhere. And if it hits somebody, it could have been dangerous, not seriously, because it's got a sharp corner. If it hit somebody in the eye, well, that would have been bad news. And most of the time, people knew they were watching you, you know, when you threw it at them, so they could, you know, they could duck it and catch it or something. And let's see what else. I don't know. There's probably stuff I forgot too, but we had a pretty good place to work up there. We enjoyed it, laid back. I probably couldn't have worked anyplace else. I got tired. we had these jobs, print jobs, and you had a due date. And you had to be done by that day. Most of it was government work, you know. If you didn't, you got docked. And there were very many of them, they'd take you off the bid list for a month. That meant you was really slack on work. And you just, the only thing you get was local work, you know, something like that, because that wasn't enough to keep a big company going. So we had to get done on time, but the thing is, sometimes we'd take a 45-minute break. It's supposed to be 10 minutes. Well, foreman was in on that too, but the thing is, we were getting our work done, getting them out on time, and everything else. So I guess that's all he felt. Now I know the big boss wouldn't have seen it that way. He'd wanted to sweep the floor and then sweep the ceiling. We was caught up on some work. You know. All right, there's enough of rambling on. It's over 10 minutes now, so have you watched this long? You're probably pretty good. You know, you've been pretty. Well, I don't know what you want to say. Maybe you're bored of anything else, and this is better than nothing. Maybe anyway. All right, y'all take care. We're going to talk to you later.